Hi, welcome back again to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn, and with me yet again, always, my lovely wife.
Always to the end of your life. Till you die.
Or to the end of your life.
True.
Gotta look at the upside. Gotta look at the silver lining.
Hi, everybody.
Margaret Quinn. Just kidding. Mwah.
Ah, PDA.
Yeah. So, today we have, I think, in today's modern kind of craft beer world that we live in, an understated, overlooked style of beer, but one that I think is really one of the cooler styles of beer when you look into it. I'm talking about Dopplebocks. And I don't know if I'm going to do this as the definitive Dopplebock because we don't really have the right beers for that, but I want to talk a little bit about the style. And this is really going to be the battle of the 1,000-year-old Dopplebocks.
Not these particular Dopplebocks.
Although maybe, as we've looked at it, maybe.
The zero could be 1,000.
So Doppelbock is a German style of beer. So it is a lager, as most German beer styles are. And the two that we have are from two very, very, very old breweries in Germany. The first is the Korbinian from Weihenstephan in Weihenstephan, Germany. Really, probably the most renowned brewery maybe ever. It is founded in, get this, so we had the oldest American beer on a couple episodes ago. That was 1829, 1847, yeah, something like that. 1829. This beats it just by a pinch. Just that much it beats it by. This brew was founded in 1040. So it's 1,000 years old, basically. I mean, well, at that point, it's not quite 1,000 years old, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that by, 2040, they'll still be around. They're not just going to crumble.
Unless shit really hits the fan, like Rapture, stuff like that. Yeah.
So in which case they'd be happy because it is an abbey. It started out as many of the beer style many of the old beer breweries started out as religious centers, and the Belgians really get the credit now for these abbey beers, but the Germans are really doing it as well, or had been doing it
since 1040.
Yeah, since 1040. And it started out as an abbey and really was continuously brewing as an abbey up until Napoleon secularized his empire, basically, and they took it out of the control of the monks and then granted it back to them a couple years later. And they've still been going. Now they've got basically a brewery, a monastery, and an entire brewing academy there. It is the most world-renowned brewing academy. You can actually get your doctorate there. And it's considered to be one of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious brewing degree you can get. And it's very, very hard to get into. You have to go to Weihenstephan, and I think all the classes are taught in German.
Sure.
So
well, that makes sense.
I mean, what are they gonna
speak English for
to
your
you?
benefit?
Yeah. We've been doing this for 1,000 years, so go talk to brother Joe over there
in Germany. Yeah.
So this is their Doppelbock, and we have another one. This is the youngin of the crowd. This is from the Weltenburger Kloster, another German abbey, and they didn't get around officially until 1050. Slackers. Although they claim on their website 1035 is the first note of them brewing there, but they don't have any scientific proof until 1050. So they're making their claim for they're the oldest as well.
Yeah, just the age of these things is astounding.
It's really beyond comprehension.
It really is. I read something on the Weltenburger website about how their abbey had actually started, I think, in like 631 AD or some ridiculous date was when they initially started the
guy who started that was like, yeah, I knew Jizo. He was a cool guy.
Well, but I'm just saying that because it does lend credence to them. Maybe it was 1035. I mean, they've been around for like 400 years at that point. Things could have gotten a little mixed up.
Right.
Maybe they weren't keeping the best records.
Yeah. And if you look through the histories of both of these, I mean, they talk about I mean, they're not just talking about, the World Wars and everything like that, but they've been, like, sacked by the Huns and Charlemagne and stuff like that. And just, it's really incredible, the history of both of these breweries, and then also the style itself, which is the Dopplebock. So a Bock beer, which is really very uncommon nowadays. The Dopplebock is more common than the regular Bock. Bock meaning beer, meaning goat in German. And the Dopplebock started out really as the Lenten beer for the monks during their fasts.
Right.
So they wouldn't eat anything. They would only drink these very full, rich, hearty beers during that time. And that's where the terminology, I believe, liquid bread came from, because that's all they would drink. And when you hear that,
that's all they would take in,
so that's all they would take in. So they would say, it was really a lifesaver. In this instance, it really was what was keeping them alive, because all they would drink were these hearty beers. So then, at some point, the Paulaner Abbey, or the Abbey at Paulin, whatever you want. I know they all do the ER, so I don't know the name of the exact term of the exact town, but Weihenstephan is the name of this town, and Weltenburg is the name of this town. They had the ER. So the one that, whatever the town was for Paulaner, they started making a commercially available Lenten beer, and they called it Salvator, in honor of their savior and why they were drinking the beer. So then all Dopplebocks were called Salvator for a little while. But eventually Paulaner said, they trademarked it and basically said, no, Paulaner, Salvator is our term. So then, since then, they have really, one way you can look at a Dopplebock is it called with an A-T-O-R at the end.
Yeah, and you see a lot of beers like that. Maximator, Optimator. Celebrator, yeah, sure, you see that everywhere.
And in America, they really kind of poke fun at that a lot too.
Oh yeah.
So you get a lot of that. And the funny for this though is neither of these have the ATOR on them.
Right, that's true.
But it is, if you ever see an ATOR on a beer, it is a Dopplebock.
Yeah, so that's a little tip for somebody who may not be familiar with the style. If you see that, you're getting a Dopplebock.
So what is a Dopplebock? It's really one of the hardiest, heaviest lagers that you can get. I think just short of an ice beer, really, or an ice bock. They are very malty. They're not going to have a lot of hop character to them, but they're going to have a ton of deep, rich malt going on. And they are often lagered or cellared for a year, 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Because they're so high in alcohol, they really need the time for the yeast to sit on that beer and really condition it. Because when you start brewing these higher alcohol beers, there's a lot of off flavors from a lager standpoint, which are very austere beers. So you really need the time for these yeasts to clean these beers up, to take out some of the harsh flavors. So what you want to have is a nice, clean malt beer, but also very powerful, very strong, and when done right, they can be quite delicious. So we're starting out with the, I've talked quite a bit, but
we're starting out with the
elder.
Oh, the elder of the two. Yes, the big brother.
Corbinian. And let's go. I'm sorry, with the bottling date.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna try to always give bottling data for what we're drinking. Some people have asked us about it and said, it's really not fair if you're talking about a very fresh beer versus a very old beer, especially if you're talking about hoppy styles. Dopplebocks do age very well, but we tried to get bottling data for this. Some of these are so cryptic. For the Weltenburger, we have no idea. It's really just, I don't know. For Weihenstephan, we tried to figure out as best we could. It seems like if what we have is valid, this is an 18-month-old Dopplebock, which sounds old.
Yeah, it does sound old. Yeah, it should probably, maybe brewed in July 2010, something like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, so we're looking at 18 months old. If it sounds unreasonable, and then again, you got to think about, they brewed it. Then they sent it to, and it's at the docks to be shipped overseas. And then it got shipped. And then it's out at that dock. And then it got distributed out to Chicago. And then it's out at the distributor. And then it went to a store. And then it's out for 2 months.
And then that's one of the drawbacks of foreign beers in general, which was probably a whole different show. But it's, sort of the lack of freshness is always something to be aware of when you get a foreign beer.
Yeah. So we'll see. Luckily, this is a style that takes well to aging.
Yeah.
It's certainly 18 months. Should not be too terrible for a beer like this.
So really pretty color on this beer. It's a dark reddish brown.
Yep. Nice mahogany color.
Yeah.
And clear.
Very rich looking color.
Ruby red.
Yeah, dark red.
Yeah, an attractive beer. And pretty much just what I described is what you're getting in the nose, like the classic Dopplebock flavor. It's very clean. You're not. And when I say clean, I'm not getting a lot of spicy flavors. Not getting a lot of alcohol, fruit, butter, vegetal, nothing like that.
It smells like dark bread or something. And I mean, we made that reference already today that, you know, this is sort of like liquid bread, but it really is. I've been baking a lot lately. I got some baking stuff for Christmas, so I think bread is in my head. But
a little yeasty guy.
Yeah.
The yeasty boy.
But it definitely smells like a loaf of fresh baked dark bread, I would say.
But very dark. It's got
like a pumpernickel, yeah, like a dark, hearty bread.
But there's an underlying sweetness and depth of flavor to it as well.
I do get a little fruit in this. I get a little bit of like raisin or something. I mean, I could say this could be like a dark raisin bread or something like that.
Yeah, and you know what? You can get fruit from these, but when I'm saying fruity, I'm thinking of, you know, apple, pear, those fleshy fruits, where this would be a dried fruit or a dark fruit, like plum at best.
Right.
But raisin, absolutely, because you're going to get
fig, like a dried fig or something like that. Let's give it a taste.
It smells delicious.
And for me, that raisin comes through on the taste as well. I get a lot of that dark fruit.
Yep. But how clean is it? Very light in the mouth. Finishes very, very clean. No hop character whatsoever. It's not cloyingly sweet.
No.
It's very well balanced. You were going to say something?
I was going to say on the back end, as soon as I took the swallow, the first thing I get is that dried raisin, and then, which I guess all raisins are dry, but then I got like that roasty flavor that came back and kind of hit me after I had taken the sip. It's that roasty, dark, almost like chocolatey flavor that came back at me.
So I'm not getting roast from it, but I'm definitely getting those dark caramelized flavors. I'm getting not quite to chocolate. I'm getting good caramel, not quite toffee, but just the caramelized sugar, molasses almost, dried fruit. Very clean, very well done.
Yeah, chocolate was a strong description. You're probably right. It's more like toffee or something like a caramel or something. Maybe a milk chocolate at best, like a light chocolate.
Yeah.
Really delicious, very nice, sweet flavors.
Yeah, and it would go well with. So I was talking to you earlier today about bread pudding, and this would go great with that because you have a nice, sweet bread-based dessert, and this would go so well with it. It's not sweet in and of itself, but it would lend itself very well to something that's sweeter.
Yeah.
Or something very hearty as well, like a beef.
Well, we're having beef stew for dinner tonight, so it'll be very convenient to have these two bottles open.
Yeah.
So yeah, like anything with a browned meat, maybe pork with like a cherry sauce or something like that would probably go well. And then I also think it could go well with like Thanksgiving type food, like mashed sweet potatoes, or like kind of like candied sweet potatoes or something like that.
Fall foods, winter foods.
Fall foods, winter foods.
It's a beer for the season.
Absolutely.
Very good. I'm going to give this beer a 94. I think there's not much more you can ask for of the beer. It's very good. It's very drinkable. It's 7.5% alcohol, and you don't really taste it. In terms of price, it comes in at about $3 a bottle, so it is a bit pricey, but luckily it is a bit stronger. It is a sipping beer, and it goes a long way.
Sure. I'll go a little lower than you. I'll go 92. Great. I mean, great beer. Just, I think it's falling around the 92 range for me.
Yeah. And to go back a little bit, I do want to mention the last episode, the Lagunitas Sucks. I gave Lagunitas Sucks a 97. I am going to back off a little bit from that. Margaret and I were talking, and I was talking to some other people as well. That would put it in the range of some of the best beers I've ever had. It clearly wasn't. I got caught up in the moment. I think that's sort of the fun of drinking a beer. You know, oh, I love this beer right now. It's tasting so good.
This is so amazing.
It's so amazing. This is like 104.
I think you were just really thirsty that day.
I was really thirsty. I was really in the mood for some really bright hops. So I'm not going to re-rate it, but I do think that I was a little bit overzealous, but it was fun.
Yeah, and it was a good beer.
Yeah, and it was a good beer. So, on to the next one. The Weltenburger Klosser Asembach, whatever you want to call it.
Thank you.
The youngin'. Let's see if the lack of those 10 years of history really hurt them.
Yeah.
If Weihenstephan took that 10 years to really dial in the recipe.
Exactly.
Now, to be fair, I don't know if Weltenburger has been brewing for the entire time. I think they might have started brewing in like the 1600s, officially, commercially.
Oh, okay, commercially, yeah. Because I was saying, look, no.
I mean, back then, all the abbeys brewed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So this one looks a lot like the previous one, maybe a little less red.
It's browner. It's darker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's considerably darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, same vein as the Weihenstephaner.
Yeah, dark beer.
And the smell is
very similar. I'm getting a little bit more raisin in it, a little bit more dried fruit.
I think it's really similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, pretty much all the same descriptors. But you're right, maybe a little more fruity. Not as much as like kind of that bready thing that I had going.
Yeah, but it is got very, very similar nose. I'm getting a little bit more of that dried fruit in this one.
This one's reminds me a little bit of
but still very clean, very
cola,
good.
or like Dr. Pepper or something like that.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit rootier.
Yeah, like maybe like a root beer, kinda. But all right.
All right. Quite different on the taste.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm getting is a lot more of kind of that last thing I said was the root flavor to it. It's got it's not quite fruity. I'm gonna say it's rooty. It's flavorful. It's not as austere. It is got a little bit more going on. It's not as going on is a bad way to put it.
I disagree with that. I thought the Weihenstephan was more complex than this. This to me is fruity, not in a bad way, but it's just I don't get much more out of it.
Yeah, no, I put it wrong. Going on was a bad way to do it. You do get that almost like it's not cola, but it's kind of like an earthy, rooty fruit flavor. Rooty, fruity.
Tutti, fresh, and fruity.
No, Rooty Tooty Fresh and Rooty is what it's called.
I think I said it right the first time, Dr. Pepper.
I hate Dr. Pepper though, and I don't hate this, so I can't say it's like Dr. Pepper.
Like some dark or some milk chocolate added in.
Maybe. Anyway. Jinx.
It's good. It's just a lot more fruity than the previous. And for my money, I would go with the Weihenstephan. I always feel like I say that wrong. Is that right? Weihenstephan?
Weihenstephan.
I would go with the Weihenstephan. I would go a little lower. I gave a 92 to this. I'll go 88 on that.
I'm gonna go 90. I'm gonna go 90 on the Weltenburger. Very good. I think though, more so than anything, it's a matter of personal preference here. This is the drier, the cleaner beer, the more easy drinking, and this is the bigger, rounder beer. Maybe after dinner you want to pour a glass of that and just kind of relax with it. I would have no problem drinking this beer.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem drinking it either. I don't have any problem drinking a Corona with a lime when the mood strikes me. But I think this...
You get a good look at a bull's ass, but...
I just think this is a more complex representative. You know, I would prefer, I think, in every situation to drink the Weihenstephan.
Okay. I think you're probably right.
And we can disagree.
No, I think you're right. But
we will get a divorce if we disagree.
Right, no. I agree with you.
All right.
You got me backpedaling a little bit. Because I do agree, but I'm just trying to say that neither of them are bad. I think that the Weihenstephan is the better made beer. I think it is got everything that's going on with this beer, but it's more subtle and you kind of it's more nuanced. You're really kind of it's more interesting when you're drinking it. You're kind of finding those flavors. Where this one, I feel like that fruit flavor is a little bit over dominant with the rest of it, and it doesn't make it quite as well-rounded a beer. Still very well, I think very good. I give it a 90 or 91.
Yeah.
And both highly drinkable, and I think people should definitely try both and see what they feel.
Okay, fair enough.
It's about the same price for both of them, and
for freshness, that's right. We have no idea when that.
No idea. I mean, this could have been brewed
10 years ago.
In 1050.
Or 10 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it. Battle of the 1,000-year-old Dopplebocks.
Winner. We agree?
Yep, the winner, Weihenstephan.
Weihenstephaner.
So, next time you want to try a beer from one of the world's oldest breweries, go get a Dopplebock from Weihenstephan.
Yeah. Thank you guys so very much. Please keep the comments rolling in. I always love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, the reviews and ratings on iTunes are always appreciated. So if you do watch the show, please go onto iTunes if you watch us via iTunes and let us know what you think and let everyone else know. I always really geek out and like to read what people have to say. We'll be back soon. We're going to have a similar themed show to this one. In the next one, we're going to be doing one of my favorite styles, the Munich Dunkel. But until then, we've got some great beer to drink, and hopefully you do too.